The Idaho Horror, the terrifying murders of young adults that shook the nation. We come back to this haunting true crime story with heavy hearts and a sense of profound sadness. The brutal murders of 4 young adults in Idaho at the hands of Bryan Kohberger still echoes through our thoughts and memories. Kohberger, a PhD student in criminal justice at Washington State University, faces 4 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Zana Kernodle, and Madison Mugen. These were vibrant, promising young people, each with a unique future ahead of them, whose lives were snuffed out far too soon. Just a reminder, the details of this case are both heartbreaking and disturbing, and we cannot begin to fathom the pain and anguish felt by the families and friends of the victims. The ripple effect of Kohberger's actions have been felt far beyond Idaho, and the nation still struggles to make sense of this senseless crime. As we continue our investigation, we are left with a haunting question: what could be the exact motive behind this atrocious act? Welcome to AF Crime, the channel that brings you fascinating crimes all around the world. If you're interested in this kind of content, then this channel is for you. Make sure to like this video. Click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to keep you updated on our recent uploads. Now, let's get right into the video and investigate the crime scene of the horrific killings in Idaho. Kohberger's sinister plan had been brewing for weeks as he loitered around the University of Idaho Student Union with his eyes fixated on his soon-to-be victims. One witness, a sophomore who identified as Chelsea, spoke to People magazine about her encounter with the perpetrator. She recounted how Kohberger would stare at her and her friend in the food court with an unnerving intensity that left her feeling uncomfortable. He didn't smile, didn't nod, didn't say anything. Just stared, Chelsea said. It was so weird that we ended up leaving and eating outside because we wanted to get away from him. The investigation also revealed that Kohberger had started messaging one of the victims on Instagram, but she never responded. Despite receiving repeated messages from him, the victim didn't acknowledge him, which could have been the trigger for Kohberger's heinous actions. But could this be the actual reason that triggers him? We'll soon find out. An anonymous source shared with People magazine that Kohberger had messaged the victim multiple times, each time with a simple greeting: "Hey, how are you?" Although there was no evidence of Kohberger's frustration towards her lack of response, he remained persistent in his attempts to contact her. And here comes the horrific part. It was a typical Saturday night for 4 young adults in Moscow, Idaho. Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mugen, the best of friends, headed out to the corner club bar. Meanwhile, Ethan Chapin and Zana Kernodle, who were in a relationship, went to a party at the Sigma Chi House. Hours passed and the night wore on. By 1:40 a.m., Gonsalves and Mugen had their fill and decided to grab some grub at a local food truck. They got a ride home from a private individual and arrived back at their place around 1:45 a.m. But little did they know danger was lurking nearby. Chapin and Kernodle returned to their apartment around the same time, with Chapin spending the night with his girlfriend. The night was cold and quiet as the 4 friends settled in for a peaceful slumber in their cozy student home. However, what should have been a peaceful rest turned into a nightmare when Kohberger snuck into their home undetected, wielding a fixed-blade knife with malicious intent. Kohberger crept up on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the home where the 4 friends slept soundly and plunged the knife into them repeatedly. No one knows exactly when the attack started, but it is believed to have taken place between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. When the police arrived, there was no sign of forced entry. The door was unlocked. It was as if the killer was invited in. The victims, all of them friends, were found in their beds, their once peaceful faces now twisted in agony. Latah County Coroner Kathy Mabbitt conducted the autopsies and confirmed that the victims had been stabbed multiple times. Their wounds were so severe, they bled out right there in their beds. It was a night that the surviving roommates would never forget. They had no idea that they were about to become unwilling participants in a horrific crime as they slept, unaware their friends and roommates were being brutally murdered just a few feet away from them. The original report states that the surviving roommates were fast asleep on the ground floor of the house, but later it was revealed that one of them was actually on the same floor as the victims. She was awoken by the sounds of Gonsalves and her dog and soon heard someone say, "There's someone here." She assumed it was Gonsalves, but it could have been Kernoodle, who was on her phone at the time. The surviving roommate opened her door twice, and the second time she heard crying coming from Kernoodle's room. She also heard a male voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Security cameras picked up the sound of whimpering, a loud thud, and a dog barking numerous times, starting around 4:17 a.m. The surviving roommate opened her door for a third time, only to see a figure dressed in black and wearing a mask. She didn't recognize the man, but he walked right past her and used the sliding glass door to escape. She thought that her roommates were having an after party and thought that the man she saw was a guest, so she went back to her sleep. The two other roommates were fortunate to have survived the attack unscathed, but some people accused them of being a part of the murders. The police cleared them of any involvement, however, stating that they were not witnesses to the incident and had slept through the attack. A press conference was held on November 23rd by the Moscow police chief, who disclosed that they had received multiple tips concerning Gonsalves and an alleged stalker. Unfortunately, they couldn't confirm any of the claims or identify any individual at the time. The public was urged to come forward with any information that could help in the investigation. The case takes a dramatic turn on December 15th, when police announced that they were searching records of over 22,000 fifth-generation Hyundai Elantras made between 2010 and 2015. This search was initiated after a camera near the crime scene captured an image of a white Hyundai Elantra around the time of the killings. It was observed that the car was seen passing the victims' homes 3 times, starting from 3:29 a.m. and at 4:20 a.m. It returned to the home for a 4th time before leaving the neighborhood at a high rate of speed. Investigations revealed that the car was owned by a local resident, Bryan Kohberger, who had driven it to the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania with his father for the holidays. Further investigations revealed that Kohberger's phone stopped connecting to the network around 2:47 a.m. in Pullman on November 13th before reconnecting around 4:48 near Blaine, Idaho. This location is close to the victim's residence, and cell phone data indicates that Kohberger was near the house at least 12 times between June 2022 and November 13th. Police also obtained a DNA sample from the crime scene that didn't belong to any of the victims. The DNA was found on a tan leather knife sheath on Mugen's bed, and using a public genealogy database, authorities identified a partial match to an individual with a familiar connection to Kohberger. Investigators traced the DNA to Kohberger by matching it to DNA found on the trash that was recovered from his family's home in Pennsylvania. Before his arrest, investigators monitored Kohberger outside his parents' Pennsylvania home, where they observed him wearing surgical gloves multiple times and placing trash bags in his neighbor's garbage can. These items were sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. Authorities also discovered that Kohberger had meticulously cleaned his car, inside and out. And when they arrested him, they found him in the kitchen dressed in a shirt and shorts, wearing examination gloves and putting trash into separate Ziploc baggies. A search of his home yielded a knife, a pistol, a black face mask, and ID cards inside a glove inside a box. The suspect's full name is Bryan Christopher Kohberger, a 29-year-old man from Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and is now behind bars in the Monroe County Correctional Facility. Kohberger's education in psychology at Northampton Community College and DeSales University may have played a role in his violent actions, as he had a fascination with studying the minds of criminals. A former FBI investigator claims that Kohberger's incel complex and history of social issues may have driven him to commit the murders, but authorities have yet to reveal a motive for the crimes. The community of Moscow was left in shock and fear as the search for the suspect went on for almost a month and a half. When Kohberger was finally apprehended, he refused to enter a plea and is now being held without bail in Latta County Jail in Idaho. The tragic loss of 4 young lives has devastated the community, and the announcement that the home where the students were killed will be demolished only adds to the pain and sorrow of the situation. The memory of these innocent victims will forever be etched in the minds of their loved ones as they struggle to cope with the aftermath of this horrific crime. Let's hear your thoughts on what could be the real motive behind this heinous crime. Share your comments below and let's discuss. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to tune into our next one where we uncover more captivating and intriguing crimes from around the globe. Don't miss out. AF Crime strives to bring you more such cases, so if you are interested, do subscribe to our channel where we bring you multiple videos per week. And don't forget to click on the bell icon to receive notification whenever we publish a new video. Till the next case, and thanks for watching.